Hello, my name is James McLachlan, Editor-in-Chief of Car Design News, and welcome to today's CDN Lighting live stream, where we're exploring one of the most powerful and rapidly evolving elements of vehicle design, which is, of course, light. Once viewed primarily as a functional necessity, lighting has become a defining tool for brand identity, emotional engagement, communication, and increasingly the overall user experience. Whether it's the unmistakable signature of a premium car at night, the distinctive character of a motorcycle, or the immersive experience created through light beyond the automotive world, we're entering an era where lighting is shaping how we perceive mobility. And to discuss where this transformation is headed, I am delighted to be joined by three leading voices from across design, innovation, and creativity. And they are Andrea Amato, who's head of design at Ducati and head of advanced design, a dual role there. Andrea, you must be busy. Philippe Poilane, who's head of design and lighting innovation at DS Automobiles and Stellantis. He's wearing his DS hat today. And a renowned artist, designer, and founder of Studio Waldemeyer, Moritz Waldemeyer. Welcome, gentlemen. Before we get started, just to say that a reminder to get your questions in the chat if you'd like to ask the guys some questions. I can't promise to get to all of them, but we'll certainly give it a go. Thanks everyone again for joining us. I know it's a very, very hot day wherever you are, but it's particularly in London. So hopefully we don't wilt halfway through. My first question is a sort of more general one, and that is about the role of lighting in terms of brand identity. Now, Moritz, you work with brands, but you also do lots and lots of other different things, but you do work with automotive as well. And for the other two speakers, this must be crucial as part of your design, your design briefs. And I wonder, for many consumers, a vehicle is now very easily to recognize at night before it's recognized during the day. And I wondered how important lighting is in defining the brand identity today. And maybe I'll start with you, Andrea, just because I'm looking at you first, but you're first up, I'm afraid.
Okay. First of all, I'm really happy to be here and to share this moment with you. So I'm really curious to learn and to listen what also Maurice and Philippe think about this amazing part of our job, the lighting design. No, in motorcycle, for sure, since the arrival of the DRL function in the countries in which DRL is allowed, for us has become something really crucial for designing something super recognizable and creating a consistent image of the brand. Mm-hmm. Especially in the latest years, we have been pushing in evolving the style, but in the same time trying to keep the coherence within all the families, for trying to give to our clients and all to the motorcyclists a clear image about Ducati, so recognizable, with a certain proportion, a certain features that we would like to maintain and evolve. So for sure is one extremely powerful, I can say, instrument that we have for pushing even forward the modernity and the futuristic image of the motorcycle, especially for Ducati, is super important to be always, coherent with the past, but in the same time looking forward.
I mean, you are a dynamic brand. You have to be doing that looking forward thing. People expect it from you. Philippe, you're actually custodian of a brand that is fairly new. I'd say still fairly new, and I guess lighting must have played a key role in trying to establish this new identity for a DS, which is obviously not as old as Citroen. I mean, it references Citroen in its nomenclature, but it must have been a very important element to discuss and get right, to try and put it on the map, as it were.
It is yes. Okay, so thank you also for the invitation to discuss about it. It is very interesting. It is something I would say quite old now, because we are applying light signatures on cars since 20 years. From the moment we had the LEDs,
Yes.
we had the technology to be able to do something different than just a point of light we could have with lamps. Okay, so since for the DS brand, for example, we have first signatures in the middle of the 2000s, and on the DS3, the first DS model, at the front with vertical lines, and at the rear with a lamp which was a square but with a depth effect, a tunnel effect, which was very interesting in terms of signature. Okay, when you see from far, you understand that it is this model, it is this brand.
Mm-hmm.
But also when we have a close look at the lamp, you can see something interesting. I would say something magical, something exciting, and when you buy the car, you are proud of it, and you have this thing added on your car compared to another one. So it is something very important to I would say to design also the lighting, to have something very interesting on the car, and something very attractive that customers want to have and to buy.
It's an interesting technological question, isn't it? Because obviously we used to have the sealed beam technology, so every headlight was round. LEDs must have opened up a whole new world. We're talking, you said 20 years of DS, but around the possibilities have evolved immeasurably, I guess, to create a unique identity. Sticking with you, Philippe. Sorry.
Excuse me. And I would say we had before we had quite round shapes or square shapes, but not something very long, very like a line, like a line you would like to design on the car. It was not so possible before, and now with the LEDs and with the LEDs and all the light engines, I would say we have created. When I say we, it is the lighting world. It is not only us at Stellantis. So with suppliers and so on, we have light engines. We call light guides or flat guides. So it is plastic parts. We put light in, and we can have a line of light, for example, or a surface which is lit. So it is something very. It is a lot of possibilities we have, I would say, to design almost what we want.
Almost. Well, we'll get to possibilities, I think, further down the conversation. But Moritz, you come in as a sort of a third party almost, in that you will work with car designers. Well, you work with all sorts of musicians, but in the automotive thing, it must be very, very prevalent at the forefront of designers' minds, this idea about brand identity and really creating something kind of memorable. Is that what automotive designers are asking you to work with them on, to try and create something that is very, very typical of a brand? Or are you more the guy that comes in and does the special effects, as it were, and the kind of the jewels?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I think the industry has opened up to like outsiders like us, I think with electrification, because if you take away the combustion engine, then you're taking away quite a lot of the like emotional side of a car, and how it appeals to the driver and also to the onlooker. And so we like to bring in inspiration from other industries and to see, how can we add, like an emotional element to the car. So we've had the light signatures that's a pretty mature idea by now, right? And so the big question is, what's next? Like how can you introduce like more of a character to a car, or how can you maybe even communicate the state of the driver? Does he feel like very chilled out or more sporty at that moment in time? Could that be expressed in the signature? And then like you can even go further with autonomous cars, like how can they communicate with maybe pedestrians? So there's a lot of really interesting ideas to be explored.
And this idea of communication, actually, I have so many questions to ask you guys, but this idea of communication would require, I suppose, a standardized method of communicating. When a car is communicating to the outside world, it almost needs to be like a standardized thing like motorway signage or road signage, so everyone is on board with what that particular car is trying to tell you. I mean, I suppose it's a constraint, but also an opportunity.
Yeah, it's like unclaimed territory, I think. Like whoever goes in first and does something meaningful, they might actually accidentally create a standard, right? So it's a very interesting field.
And Andrea, Moritz raises an interesting point there about electrification and that idea of just more opportunities and trying to create that emotional connection. Because I think there's a few things more emotional in the world than a Ducati motorcycle, but obviously the electrification angle is an interesting one for you guys as well. So how do you sort of keep that real passion?
Yes, of course. I don't know if you know, but 4 or 5 years ago, we have developed a race bike, a completely full electric race bike. We have been racing since last year with the Ducati Moto E World Championship. We did it just for learn and gain know-how, maybe for creating a proper road products in the future. In motorcycle world, the electrification still is not so strong. There are really few brands that are trying to push in this direction. They have been experiencing quite a bit of problem because mainly in motorcycle world, weight is one of the first
right.
Yes, is the first barrier for this kind of technology. Weight that then has an impact on the dynamic riding the bike itself. And also the range, how many kilometers you can ride the bike, especially when, for example, for a super bike, like our Panigale, you on one hand you want really high performance, but on the other hand, you have to find a compromise in terms of range, kilometer range. So that's why in motorcycle world still the electrification is not so strong, is not so diffuse. But one thing that Moritz said that I believe is going to be a future trend, and already is possible to see some example in the current motorcycle market, is use the light as communication, to communicate something. The first example that come up in my mind is, for example, when we change the riding mode in our motorcycle from road to race, we use the light, the color, for enhance this kind of change of character of our bike. I think this is one, at least in our world, is one direction that still has a big opportunity to be studied, to be developed.
And Philippe, does that ring true with you as well? This idea of different mixed modes and communicating what the driver might be doing or feeling, or even, I suppose it moves into the realm of wellness as well, not just the driver himself, but the passenger. How do you create a kind of a softer mood, perhaps, on a long journey? I imagine DS are very interested in this just because they are a luxury premium brand.
You are speaking about the interior lighting.
Yes, interiors, perhaps, or also exterior, I guess, with communicating to the outside world. It's a lot.
Oh yes, for interior lighting, it's very important to have to give, I would say, this atmosphere in which you are well, you are quiet, you feel the comfort, you have the serenity you want to have for a long travel. So yes, it is. I would say the lighting for the interior of the car is designed to give a good experience, and I would say generally a quiet experience. Okay.
Oh, that's not true of every brand, though. Some of them are
no.
like a
Yes,
discotheque,
it's not true for all the brands, and we have also on other brands, I would say, a change of color you can play with. You can choose more exciting colors when you want to I would say, to drive with dynamism. You're with a little dynamic your car, so it is something you can change. And I would say when you change in a sport mode, you have automatically the change of the color in the atmosphere of the car for the lighting. Okay, so it is the experience we propose to customers.
I know that lighting is a very incredibly technical challenge, more so than some certain other aspects of design. And I did wonder how much time designers spend solving technical and regulatory challenges rather than creating experiences. I mean, I guess there's a balance there between, this highly restrained, regulatory body around lighting, and how much time does that take up? Whereas creating, as opposed to creating really unique experiences. Philippe, I'll stay with you, but then we can move on to Andrea and then Moritz, perhaps.
Okay. But how many time? It is a question. How many time we spend with all the constraints we have on the regulation?
Are you spending too much time on the
yes,
constraints and regulation?
I would say more than 80% of the time. Okay, it's a lot. Yes. No, but our job is to have the good idea at the beginning, and the good creativity, the good new idea. Often we want to propose something which is new, not something we have already designed in the past, but something which is new in terms of effect, in terms of quality for the quality we have at the end also of the project, something which could be better than something we did in the past. And so it is often a new adventure with a new idea, and for each new idea, I would say we have to explore new, to pass new barriers, okay, new limits, and it takes often some time.
Yeah.
But it is, I would say it is the core of a designer job. It is to have creativity, good ideas at the beginning, but after it is the start of a long work, of hard work to push the good idea you have at the beginning to the end of the project.
Yeah, it leads nicely into Andrea, because I know how close the relationship is with engineering at Ducati, but this is a good one. Same question to you, Andrea.
Yes, I agree with Philippe. I mean, also for Ducati, if you consider that for developing a new motorcycle, we take 3 years, more or less. At least 2 years we need for developing all the lighting system. And often, especially in these latest projects that we have been closing, often happens that we have to close not 100%, but we have to close the entire idea outside and inside, because we design also the inside of the lighting system before to close the design with the clay model, for example. So we have to really for managing and be sure that at the end we go in startup production with all the lighting components that are follows the rules and homologation, different homologation and rules between different countries. We need all this time. In motorcycles, sometimes depends, because we have sometimes the opportunity to split. For example, for one single model, we can design, we can think two different components. For example, for the blinkers. And this is give us a little bit of freedom for keeping maybe the original idea as it is. One example is, for example, the previous generation of Monster, the Monster in which we, for the first time in the motorcycle world, we designed that we introduced the blinker with the dynamic effect, no? So with that dynamic effect, we fell down in a certain rule, certain regulation that all the markets are requesting, but not for all the countries. So for example, in USA, we had to design a proper blinker in a more conventional way with a more conventional shape. So sometimes we can have this kind of differentiation. I agree totally with Philippe. For sure, our job is to be super creative and push always, forward the boundaries. But then at certain point, is really necessary to be, to know and to be able to manage these constraints, these limits, somehow. Trying to get an advantages, no?
Yeah.
So, especially if some young designer or design students are following this interview, my suggestion is this one: be super creative, but at a certain point, try really to understand, especially if when a young guy start to work in a design studio. Start to understand if the idea can fit with all the regulation, and immediately think a second idea or a variation of the main idea.
Right. Moritz, would you like to chime in on that? I don't have a specific question, but you must have some thoughts.
Sure. When it comes to regulation, obviously, as like artists and designers, we all hate regulation because they limit what we can do. But it's obviously part of the project. So now recently, for the very first time, we entered the world of aircraft interiors, and you can imagine that that's like the highest regulated world you can possibly work in, far beyond what happens in automotive. And so that was a very interesting experience, and you have to kind of obviously talk to all the specialists and like find out the constraints in which they work. And exactly as Andrea is saying, like the best design is the one where you then somehow take these constraints to your advantage, right? And sort of like try to push within those limits and create something exciting and enticing with the limitations that you're being given. In the end, like every design project has limitations, be they regulatory or mere physics or manufacturing technology, right? So you need to kind of know your constraints and boundaries, and regulation is just one of them, and then try to maximize the output within those boundaries, I think.
Another, just sticking with you, Moritz, are there lessons, do you think, and it goes across these three disciplines we have here today, are there lessons that from your work that you can take into the automotive industry that you've experienced outside of cars that you think would be useful, I think, for lighting designers?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I'm I've got always like two hats on in my work. I'm coming from an artist family, so I grew up with painting and sculpture and all of that. But then I did an engineering degree. So,
oh my gosh.
So I've got sort of like these two sides of the brain, and I think it's a very, very useful combination. Because on the one side, I think it's really exciting and useful to do these kind of like deep dives and like properly geek out in trying to understand the technology that you work with, like how does an LED work? How is it even composed of, like what's inside an LED? How do you control an LED, you know, understand like every manufacturing process in the worlds of electronic design, and then come back away from that and then come from the other side with the creative idea by trying to like really use that knowledge to the maximum. And I think that's where you can innovate and can create like exciting new shapes and forms and ways of making things that maybe in the original industry haven't been done before. So like cross-pollination, I think is a really good way forward.
It's almost like a split personality you have there, Moritz. Normally engineers and artists, they tend to be architects because they can do the both sides of the thing. Andrea, are you similarly sort of minded, and is there lessons you think from the packaging constraints or the parameters that you have in motorcycles that you think cars can learn, or car designers can learn from, and vice versa to Philippe? I'll start with you, Andrea, but then we can put the same question to Philippe.
I answer first, right?
Yes, please. Yeah, thank you.
For sure, James. I mean, as Moritz said, I believe that taking inspiration from other fields is crucial. For sure, motorcycle world usually is following automotive world in terms of technologies, in terms of trends. So a lot of our inspiration from a design point of view, but also in terms of technology or how to manage the space, the PCB, LEDs, looking and study what is happening in the car wars is extremely important. But also we try to check even outside from the automotive world. I don't know, in the architecture or all these. I mean, all these different fields can give us a different idea for maybe. Think about a light signature or a light effect different from what we have done until yesterday. And sometime have mentioned the space and how to manage the proper components. If you consider the overall dimension of a bike, of a motorcycle, being able to achieve a certain light effect with a certain design in the space that we have, unfortunately, is not so big. We have to always make it more compact as possible. Our colleagues are not so happy from the engineering department because always we try to push as much as possible, but in the same time we want to achieve a super diffuse effect or really fluid. That's why it's always important to open up the eyes and look around and try to find the right inspiration. Even because honestly, several motorcycle brands are pushing quite a lot from on this point. Chinese brand are, I think they are creating super interesting products with an high perceived quality, especially thanks to how they manage the lighting. So this is interesting and is a point of attention for the historical brands like Ducati or other European brands. Yes. Means that we have to always push forward and trying to improve it.
I can't believe you mentioned unhappy engineers. Normally they're always happy, aren't they, Andrea?
Sometimes you can make them happy, but
Philippe, I was going to ask you a similar question, but I'll also ask you a second one as well, and that is, Andrea raised this idea of Chinese designers being able to sort of make their own identity quite quickly and well with lighting. Is that something? Okay, where do you look for inspiration at? Feeling a similar sort of pressure from the Chinese innovation, I guess, and lighting design.
From Chinese, I would say we see that they push a lot. They are they seem to have less issues with electronic and and LEDs because they can have a lot of things on their cars, and it is very challenging for us. So it is, but we know that they are also pushing to propose their products in Europe, and they don't hesitate to put what customers want to have on the product. So it is very good from them. Of course, concerning inspiration or research of new ideas and so on, it is the best thing for a designer is to be curious every time. Not only we are speaking about lighting of automotive, but it is we can have a look also, for example, also on motorbikes. Of course, we like to have a look to beautiful motorbikes, because we like that too. And we have a look also to the light signature we could see on these motorbikes, and it is something we are curious with. And on Stellantis side, we found people from color and trim are going every year at the Milan Design Week. So it is I would say a reference for us in terms of having new ideas, because a lot of things are proposed there, and it is something which is also close to what you are doing with your studio, Moritz, because you are proposing very, very different products with playing with lighting. And of course, each time, I would say artists are proposing something with lighting. There is something to discover in terms of effect, in terms of interest of the effect, and so on. So it is, we think that the best thing to have good ideas for the future, it is to be open, completely open, and to see all what is created around the lighting material, I would say. Never mind if it is automotive or the architecture or products, over products with lighting.
I have a question about suppliers, actually, and their role in this. Are we seeing enough genuine innovation from suppliers at the moment, or is the progress more incremental? I mean, are there any big sort of breakthroughs that you guys as designers are waiting on from the supplier industry that's out there? Moritz, I mean, you're the one who pushes serious boundaries, I guess. I mean, what do you think on that particular point?
Yeah, I have like two opposing opinions on that. On the one side, like I've been doing this kind of work for about 20 years now, and I started the studio with these basic building blocks of having LEDs and programmable microcontrollers, and they are almost like our creative medium, because they allow us to use software to then create effects and light, and we then design around this. Okay, we can give this shape, and we can create behavior, and these basic building blocks are still pretty much the same as they were back then. Okay, the microcontrollers might be a bit more powerful. You can have more memory. You can now buy addressable LEDs that didn't exist back then. We had to make our own. So yeah, from that point of view, like it's really the creativity, you know, to like what to do with these basic building blocks that is your limitation. But then on the other side, like knowing your supplier is also very important. So I was talking about this kind of like deep dive. I think like if one goes to the suppliers and then learns about their technology and like really go very, very deep down, you know, to understand, you know, what they're actually capable of, then very often instead of waiting for the supplier, you can actually come up with an idea what they should be able to do. And then you go back and say, like, actually, I want you to do it this way, and then that also can create innovation. So yeah, that's really my
Thanks,
2 cents
Moritz.
to the supplier question.
What about you guys, Andrea and Philippe?
Yes, I totally agree with Moritz. Also, in our case, we have been talking a lot with our supplier, and happens that the supplier comes to us showing us their latest technologies and innovation. Other time happened that we call them with an idea, and we try to build with them a proof of concept, or trying to figure out the design idea and understand if it will be feasible in a few years or soon for a certain project. In motorcycle, the curve of innovation, I mean, once we have been able to introduce LEDs and so on, we could see a quite strong step. Now probably is a little bit more, there is no an incredible innovation in motorcycle world, but what I'm seeing and what we have been experiencing is that due to more powerful LEDs, compact light, a little bit more freedom in terms of shape, we have much more freedom in placing the lighting in shapes, volumes, much more complex respect 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So what I can say is that in terms of shape and positioning on the bike, we can push much more, and we can consider the lighting system not just as a headlight and tail light, but maybe for enrich or creating an engaging effect in all the cockpit area, inside view, for example. A motorcycle, if they have one weak point is the visibility inside view. No, if you imagine to cross the road with a motorcycle in the night, the side view is totally dark. So also this kind of idea can be a good direction that in the future we can improve, we can experience, we can study.
Philippe, are you having to push your suppliers hard? Are they coming to you with enough innovation, or is it something that you would like to see some bigger steps forward rather than the incremental ones?
Exactly the same than for you. They are proposing their new technologies each time they can. Okay, and in the same time also we are. They ask to us what we are thinking about for the future, because they want to be sure that they will have the good technology at the moment we will require it. So it is I would say we have a very close, very close, very important proximity with them, with all the suppliers, all along the year, to prepare the future projects and to explain what we are thinking about, and to check with them if it answers to our need, to our wish, when they have a new technology or not. Yes, so it is something we exchange a lot with them, because they are at the design of the lighting after. When we ask for a lighting supplier to design the lighting and to manufacture it, we will count on them at 100%. At 100%. So it is very, very important to be in a very good exchange with them about what we want. It is sure.
And away from innovation, I have a question, actually, sticking with you, Philippe, about the idea of identity. We spoke about it earlier, but do we get hung up on lighting signatures? I mean, is there homogeneity or that's creeping in across design? I know when we saw the arrival of the light bar on the rear of the car, then all of a sudden they seem to be everywhere. How do you sort of escape that getting lost in the shuffle? And is the lighting signature? It can't be the silver bullet for your identity. You have to think of other things. But I wondered what your feelings were on that. Do we get too hung up on the idea of just this? The signature is the thing.
Excuse me, I haven't well understood the question.
Also, I was going to say that in terms of a focus on the lighting signature being very, very important, sometimes what you find is a new innovation will lead to homogeneity, a similarity across multiple brands, and how I guess you escape that.
I would say for the light signature, when we have a look to the car from quite far, okay, for each brand we have I would say we have a drawing, we have a DNA drawing, own drawing for each brand, okay, own light signature. Mm-hmm. After on the question of the effects, how we do it, and so on, we are open with the, I would say, the new technologies we could have, the new ideas to make work the light with light engines and so on. So we are completely open, and we ask for new effects car after car. We are searching for new effects because we want to do something new each time. But concerning the light signature, I would say the light signature is something very very important for each brand to keep it or to move toward a new one. But after the brand will keep it for a moment. So it is to be sure that we have a specific design for the brand, a specific recognition of the brand with the light signature. So it is something we must keep as most as we can.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to turn it over to audience questions in a minute because there are some. So I'm going to sort of skip a couple here and go to what I've labeled in my little sheet, the dream scenario. And that is, if regulations, cost, manufacturing constraints disappear tomorrow, what lighting experience would you create? This is a total open playing field, Andrea and Moritz, and then we'll finish with Philippe, and then we'll turn it over to audience questions. But imagine you could do whatever the hell you liked. What would you do?
Yeah. So with no regulation, with no... I mean, James, I have in my archive, I have so many sketches with the super strong and innovative idea. With all my team, we have been designing and searching for advanced idea almost all days. Mm-hmm. For sure, I believe that in case one day we won't have regulation, I think in motorcycle world at least, we are going to be much more free in making even more recognizable not only the brands between our brand between the other, but even model by model. In motorcycle world, we have different segment. Each segment has his own needs, his own riding style, weight use, different environments. So for sure, to be free in managing the lighting as we want, as we would like, can give us the opportunity to really reshape strongly the front face, for example, reshape also the tail, creating really a strong character for each segment inside our model range. This is something that I think could happen.
I'd love to see those sketches, Andrea. One day, maybe you'll open them up to us.
It's difficult, but maybe one day then.
Okay, stay tuned. Moritz, your turn.
Yeah. Well, I think if there's no regulations, that obviously opens up the whole playing book. There's so much that can be done in terms of like illuminating surfaces, creating like animation across the car, creating like expression of the character of the car, of the brand, of the personality of the driver, or of the state of mind of the driver as well. Then there's like a lot of things that electrification, like opportunities that have not been taken really, especially when it comes to like more emotional products, like say a sports car, right? Because like the electric motors and all the like drive electronics is all just hidden away in boxes. You never see it, but you could actually bring this out and make it visible as in a classic supercar. You know, the V12 engine is all exposed and you can see maybe the rear suspension. Like you could do, like take the same approach also with the motors, the driving electronics, maybe the battery technology. You could really design those elements and like make them part of the expression of the car, and then illuminate these as well, and maybe animate to show the state of like the flow of electrons. There's a lot of opportunity there, and then we get into the discussion of like the communication to the outside world, etc. So yeah, there's lots to be done.
It does sound very fun. I almost want to abolish the regulations just to see what you would do, Moritz. And Philippe, that's a question for you as well. What's your dream scenario?
If we have no limits in terms of regulation, it is a question.
Yeah.
Yes. I would say we have an illustration with what we have already
some
done.
Images, yeah.
Yes, we
actually could you call up the images, do you think?
For example, the page 10 of with the DSX E10's car. Yes.
Ooh,
for example,
wow.
Yes, it is an example of what we could do if we have no limits. no limits in terms of price. And also in terms of regulation, we could design this kind of light signature, this kind of front face, okay, with a very powerful and rich lighting effect. So it is something that we dream to do not only on a concept car but on serial cars. For the future. And we have also the example with the Aerosport Lounge concept car also on the page before. Yes, okay.
We'll get it back in a sec, don't worry.
Yes, the page before again, just for the front face, it is the same also. Because for the interior, I would say we have less the question of the regulation as an issue. It is more for the exterior of the car.
Thank you, Philippe. That's
yes. Thank you to you.
No, not at all. I'm just going to turn it over to audience questions now because we're getting towards the end. But one question is simply: are lights too bright these days for people to drive at night? I know it's something that my mother suffers from. She doesn't go out so much at night because she finds herself dazzled by headlamps. But is that something that you think about? Philippe, or is this more kind of beyond a design question and something else entirely?
Excuse me, the question, excuse me.
Oh, sorry, a headlights are they too bright at night? Are they, because
too bright?
Yeah, too bright. Sorry, I wasn't being particularly clear there, but yeah.
Yeah. Today we are proposing I would say smart systems that are able to light the road in front of the car, but without glaring overs. Okay, so it is something which is now quite commonly used on the current models. So it is something which will normally decrease the question of being disturbed by the brightness of the front lighting, especially because it is especially the front lighting of the cars, but with keeping, I would say, a good performance for the driver, because he needs to see the road in front of the car too. So
100%, yeah. Question here from I might direct this one to you, or do you, Andrea, just because you do head up the advanced design, but it's about in the early concept phase, how far should you push lighting ideas before considering usability, manufacturing ability, and other practical constraints? I guess from your experience, how far should you take it? I know you touched on that earlier, but I think it's worth repeating perhaps, or expanding on.
How far in a possible concept you mean in concept bike? For sure, in concept bike, we try always to push forgetting for a while certain constraints in terms of space, dimension, visible area, illuminated area. We try always to make it really thin, compact, maybe also really integrated deep inside the volume of the bike, for example. But I believe that in our case, since how can I say, one components, like for example the headlight, can have a really strong impact on the overall proportion of the front face,
Yeah.
So that means that even if we are designing a concept, keep in mind, 15% or 20% of what could be in case this concept is going to be produced, always helps to preserve and to save the design idea in terms of proportion, lines, and the overall balance of the bodywork.
Another question here, and I think this stood out to me, but I thought it was quite a good one. What's the one thing the automotive lighting industry should stop doing, and what should it start doing? Moritz, I'll ask you that one.
Well, there's quite a lot of relatively bad design that's come out recently. Yeah, don't like the lines between the headlights. In many cases, that looks just really cheap. Illuminated badges are not done very well. So there's a lot of details that could be considered better. Yeah. What should they start doing? They should start thinking about kind of more of creating a character of the car, like maybe also using animation. Go away from just static signatures and into something that's more dynamic and more communicative and also more emotive. Creating emotion through animation, I think, would be an interesting thing to discuss.
Okay, Philippe, I won't ask you to comment on any illuminated badges or light bars or anything like that, but what would you think? What would you like to start doing, and what should we stop doing, I guess?
What we'd like to see for the future, it is more freedom for the the possibilities we could use, we could propose on the cars. And for example, the animations you are speaking about, Moritz. Okay, today we know that it is allowed only when we approach the car. When we leave the car, but not when we use the car on the road. On the road, it must stay fixed. Okay, despite the turn indicator. Okay, we have the scrolling now, and it is something new, I would say, in the regulation since some years. So it is what we stop to do. It is to put limits everywhere, to design the lighting, and what we must start to do, it is to have a good relationship with regulation people, and to ask to them what we could do better in the future, with always thinking about the security, because it is their main priority. It is the security.
Of course. Yeah,
but
of course.
And we can't discuss about this. I would say security, it is first priority, but with possibilities to change a little, I would say, the limits, and to be able to design new things and interesting things also for
Yeah.
the people on the road.
We're almost back to your sketchbook, I think, Andrea, when we talk about this. But maybe your thoughts quickly, and then we'll have to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
I just say that we have a friend on our side that is the small dimension of the overall the whole bodywork. I mean, so we in this way we cannot do something too over designed. I think this is the point. Probably the freedom that the technology can give us sometime opens to really busy and over design signature or thought behind all the aesthetic. In our case, we are forced to keep to think carefully where we put the light and how, because the space is that's it, is that one and that's it.
Okay, all right. Well, guys, I'd love to keep going. Sorry if I didn't get to your questions. Maybe you could send them in and we could fire them over to the guys. I'm going to call it a day there. Thank you very much for sticking with us if you've been watching, and thank you so much to our speakers who've been in and given their time to us, Andrea, Moritz, and Philippe. I hope to see you again soon. It's been lovely chatting to you, but for now, cheerio.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ciao.
Thank you to you. Yes. Ciao.
Ciao. Okay, just a few shameless plugs from me. There's the Car Design Dialogues Detroit coming up. There's Car Design Dialogues Milan. We're going back there next year, and also we're going back to Shanghai. So please come along and see us there. People Awards. If you've enjoyed the lighting, if you're a lighting designer even, please get your team into the automotive lighting category. Deadline's bearing down fast, so still opportunities to celebrate your team. Next, and we are even more lighting. We've got a lighting conference coming up there from our colleagues in Germany, the Automotive Lighting Conference, ALC. Some quite fruity branding. Keep going, please, Sasha. And if you haven't had enough of my voice, I am monthly on the podcast with the rest of the team. We'd love you to tune in. How many more of these are there, Sasha? Come on, let's see what's next. And 2 more live streams for you: Truck Interior of the Future and the yearly roundup that we do at the end of the year. So those are the 2 the next ones coming up. I think that's it from me. Of course, Car Design Review and Car Design News and All Interior Motors, all part of the package of Car Design News. Feel free to subscribe and for more content. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.